Good morning and thanks for joining us on the breakfast this morning. My name is Nyamgul Agaji. On the show today, we're going to be looking at the Rivers crisis. The latest was that the governor was locked out of the Rivers State Assembly building. And we also are going to be looking at the Senate calling for military base in Benue State. We will as well do the top trending issues where we bring you matters that caught our fancy in the course of the last 24 hours, and then we will go to the press to see what is fresh on the headlines that made it to the front pages of our national dailies, or some of our national dailies. It promises to be a wonderful day today, the 13th day of March 2025, and it's a Thursday, one day to the thank God it's Friday, and the weekend is just around the corner. How much have you done? That was your target this week. You still have more than 24 hours to finish what you're supposed to do for the week and then rest. Make it a point that every week you'll find time to rest, even if it's one day, and it doesn't have to be on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday. It could be any day else. Maybe your work is such that it does not respect weekend or anything, but it does give you the time to rest for one day. Use that day to rest. That is why maybe the scripture also told us that even God himself rested on the seventh day. So who are you that you would not rest? Rest is very important. This morning we'll go straight away to the top trending issues. The first one is President Bola Tinubu has held a closed-door meeting with key lawmakers from Lagos State, including the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Mudashiru Obasa, and Mojisola Miranda, the newly elected Speaker, or the newly elected Deputy Speaker as it is. The meeting took place at the Presidential Complex in Aso Rock. The lawmakers arrived in a coaster bus at around 2 p.m. local time, followed by security personnel ushering them into the president's office complex. Obasa arrived separately at approximately 3 p.m. The talks come amid tensions between Obasa and Miranda, particularly around a 5 billion naira vehicle purchase. There are also reports of ongoing feuds between the two, which have further deepened due to political disagreements. That meeting was held, and the resolution was that Obasa continues to be the speaker, and the report also suggests that Obasa was warned that henceforth he should be more open, more transparent, more friendly to the other lawmakers, because one of the accusations was that he should not, or he has been a very high-handed kind of leader. He doesn't carry people along, whatever that is in political language, but he doesn't carry other people along. And he has been warned now to desist from that. When that meeting ended in Aso Rock, Obasa failed to comment. But the person who walked with Obasa, that is one of the reps members, that is Faleke, Honorable Faleke, who commented on it, said that the meeting went well. The rest of the lawmakers that came out of the meeting came out jubilant. They were singing. Reports have it that they were singing "On Your Mandate We Stand." You know what that song is. It's a popular song when among the loyalists of the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. "On Your Mandate We Stand" was sung after that meeting for about 5 minutes when the reporters were trying to get some comments from the lawmakers. 5 minutes to sing that song, that campaign song, as it were. So that was how it went, which means there is some kind of uneasy, what will I call it, resolution to whatever is happening. Because if there's been a problem between these two, or between Obasa and the entire members of the House of Assembly, or at least more than 2/3 of the members of the State Assembly, that means there will still be that, how do we put it now? In local parlance, we call it bad belly. There will still be that among them. But we're hoping that the healing will come for the House of Assembly in Lagos State, because if anything goes wrong there, that means it will also translate to what will happen in the entire state. And if it happens in the entire state, it means it will affect Nigeria as a whole. So would like peace to reign in that arm of government in Lagos State. So congratulations to Obasa, congratulations to Miranda, congratulations to the House of Assembly, Lagos State House of Assembly, for a peaceful resolution of the matter. Whatever were the details of the closed-door meeting with the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is not really our problem, so long as the resolution has been had and there is peace that has returned. One of the complaints that well, I don't know if I call it complaint. One of the things that the president said was that when the problem was happening, the lawmakers did not go, that's according to a report that we saw on Vanguard, I think. When the problem came up, it's only Obasa that reported to him, Obasa that went to him and said this XYZ is happening in the State Assembly. The rest did not go to him. So he was forced to side with Obasa. They should have come to him. But I think that was really unnecessary, because yes, he might be the president, he might be leader and all that, but you know, the same thing that is happening in the Senate is what is happening here. If the Senate has internal way of resolving their issues, I'm sure that the State Assembly has a way of resolving their issues. It's not everything that a mature child should run to the father to solve. There are things that you let your father just rest and hear of the resolution, rather than every time everybody comes to him to complain, look at what this person has done to me, look at what this person has done to me. But that's what he said, and we know the position the president holds in Lagos politics, so maybe that was the mistake that the rest of the lawmakers made. Whatever it is, we like the fact that peace has returned. IPU, that is the president of the International Parliamentary Union, IPU, Tulia Ackson, has promised to ensure due process in addressing Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's suspension from the Nigerian Senate. Ackson's assurance came after Akpoti-Uduaghan appealed for IPU and the United Nations to intervene, calling her suspension unjust and politically motivated. At the Women in Parliament session, Akpoti-Uduaghan shared her concerns, stating that her suspension was a direct result of a petition against Senate President Godswill Akpabio, where she alleged sexual harassment. She emphasized that the suspension was a tactic to silence her and prevent a fair investigation into the matter. The suspension or suspended senator also highlighted the severe sanctions imposed on her, which included the withdrawal of her security, seizure of her official vehicles, stoppage of her salary, and a ban from the National Assembly premises. She pleaded for support, not just for herself, but for the women of Nigeria. Now, we've been flogging this case for a very, very long time, and you know, so many people don't want to talk about it. But while we are here, let's just mention that some of us are very, very uncomfortable with the fact that 25% of the women in the Senate have been banned, because that's what it means. There are just 4 people in the Senate. 4 women in the Senate, and 1 has been banned. That is 25% of women representation has been banned. A National Assembly that is talking about giving seats, free seats to women, which I don't support anyway, but I have my reasons. They have theirs, because I don't think handover the things that we should do to women. We're not teaching them how to be self-reliant, how to be strong enough to play in that political space. We're not giving them other opportunities to excel. We're not showing them the ropes. We just want to hand them some places. Well, that's matter for another day. But I think it is very wrong for the Senate to suspend someone, no matter what it is, to suspend someone for 6 months, because like I said, I think yesterday, it means that the constituency that she represents will be shut down, or would be shut up for 6 months. They will have no say in the lawmaking, the process of lawmaking. They will have nobody to represent them. They will have nobody to support them or speak for them for 6 months. That is half a year. And I don't think the excuse of unruly behavior or whatever is big enough for someone to go suspended for 6 months. And in these 6 months that she's been suspended, and if that report is true, she's been banned from going to the assembly complex. Her security details have been withdrawn. Why was she given security details in the first place? It's because someone in that standing, someone of that standing rather, faces a security threat. So you're saying that in the next 6 months, anything that happens to her can happen to her. So if she has political enemies or she has any other enemies and they go for her, nobody to protect her. So you've condemned her to go die. As far as that scenario is playing out, as far as I'm concerned, that is what it is. So you're no longer part of us for 6 months. You cannot come to these premises for 6 months. Your salary will be stopped for 6 months. So if you're going to go hungry and your constituents are going to stone you for not doing what you're supposed to do. In Nigeria, your salary is not your salary if you're a senator or any political appointee. Everybody expects you to spend from that salary alongside other things that you get. They want you to spend it. So you're saying that if the constituents are going to rebel against her because she's not doing what they expect her to do, they should go ahead. If criminals, bandits, political enemies, or anybody wants to go after her, assassins or anything, they can go ahead. You have withdrawn the security details to a sitting senator because she has not been removed. She's still a sitting senator that has been suspended. What does the law say? What does the Constitution say about suspending a sitting senator? And if the suspension is because she accused the Senate president, so why not just hear her out, determine that she's telling a lie, punish her accordingly with the legal ways that you are supposed to do that, because that's defamation. If defamation is such a criminal act that someone can go to prison or face firing squad, make sure she does that. Let her face all the music if she is lying and cannot prove beyond reasonable doubt. But shutting her off makes a lot of people who can think to begin to ask questions as to why everybody is doing so much to make sure that this case does not see the light of day. We're seeing even women organizations protesting that she should face that music and all that. And from the talk and from everything, it sounds somehow. So if anybody wants to see this through, let's just see it through. Let's expose her to the world that she's been lying, especially in this case. That's the number 3 citizen of Nigeria being accused. In other climes, and I'm not just saying this because I like to say that. I hate saying in other climes, comparing Nigeria to other places. We have our peculiar problems and our peculiar ways of solving problems. But in other places, a Senate president would step aside at this moment if he's been accused so grievously by one of the senators, not any other individual. A senator as well has accused him of XYZ. He would step aside, the investigation will be done, he will be found either guilty or not guilty, and then he returns. We're not saying leave the position, resign or anything, but step aside so that people will think or see that you're not influencing whatever the outcome of that investigation is. But in Nigeria, no. Everybody will carry placards. The women will carry placards and say, one of our own is a disgrace to us. The Youth National Association of Nigerian Students, no less, will carry placards and say they are disrupting the operations of the National Assembly. Nobody's carrying placards to say, let justice be done, whether it's for the Senate President or it's for Natasha. And throughout my talk, I'm not saying I'm supporting Natasha or I'm supporting the Senate President, but whenever there's an allegation, whenever there is some kind of doubt about what may or may not have happened, there should be an investigation and we should get to the conclusion of the matter. And if everything is correct, then it will not take so much time that it will derail the activities of the National Assembly. So why are we delaying it? 6 months, if she comes back, what happens? Now the international community is the one that is trying to see whether they are coming. And we heard that the Senate President or the senators are saying that the IPU has no right to summon their Senate President. Well, we'll see where this matter will end. If it happened to me, I wonder where I would have been right now if it can happen like this to Natasha, whether she's telling a lie or she's telling the truth. If it happens to an ordinary Nigerian, like the guy who was beaten black and blue, the Uber guy that was beaten black and blue by a National Assembly member, And a few weeks later, the guy had to come and apologize to Nigerians that it wasn't as bad as it was, even when we saw the evidence and everything. What money cannot do does not exist. Okay, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has banned police officers in civilian attire, Mufti, from carrying assault rifles. This move aims to reinforce operational integrity and ensure officers maintain professionalism while on duty. During a virtual meeting with police managers, Egbetokun addressed several issues, including human rights violations. He warned that any breaches of human rights would be met with severe consequences and urged officers to uphold the rights of citizens. The IGP also stressed the importance of adhering to uniform standards, especially for tactical squads, and prohibited the indiscriminate transfer of cases without written approval. He called for greater collaboration within the police force to maintain its reputation and prevent misconduct. Okay, to maintain its reputation, that's final statement. I don't know. What reputation does the Nigerian police have anyway in Nigeria? I know they're doing a lot of things, but the greater population thinks that Nigerian police is not doing enough and it's selling itself in bad light. Really, I've seen times when the police have done so well, trying to prevent insecurity and so many other things that should not happen in the society. I commend them for the times that they do well, but the times that they do not do well, and the punishment that is meted out to those who give them a bad name, it makes Nigerians not trust police. And if you cannot trust the law, then who do you trust? That's the problem. Okay, so this ban has come up. It's been spoken about a long time ago, and now if they're going to enforce it, that's a very good thing. But how do we distinguish between those people who are doing covert operations? Okay, assault rifle is what they don't have to carry, so maybe they will carry pistols or something else to defend themselves or to do what they're supposed to do. But when you bring a policy, follow it through and make sure that you don't go back on your words, because 6 months later, I don't know if we'll still be talking the way we're talking right now. If we can actually know that we are going to go to our streets and find no policeman without uniform that is carrying an assault rifle. One thing that has been banned before is roadblocks, but roadblocks are there on our roads. In fact, if you're going to the east, for instance, in every local government, just passing through the roads, you're not entering other roads, just passing through the roads, in every local government, you will meet at least 5 to 7 roadblocks. Various people, police, army, produce, vigilante, and all whatnot, at least 5 to 7 on the road. And I'm talking about local governments. These local governments I'm talking about is just on the road. I'm not saying you're going to the entire local government. So if you're just passing, okay, maybe through the east and you're going somewhere else, you find these roadblocks. Every other place as well has roadblocks. In fact, there was a video I watched some time ago that truck drivers were giving a breakdown of how much they spend on the road when they're carrying goods from the north to the south. Sometimes they spend up to 500,000 naira, between 250,000 to 500,000 naira, because for them, they cannot give 100 naira, they cannot give 500 naira. It is from maybe 1,000, 5,000 naira and up. That's what they give on the road, not for committing a crime, but just for driving a truck with goods. So if those goods are coming from the north to the south, and you're spending 500,000 naira just for bribes, I'll call it bribes, because I'm not sure that is going to the coffers of the government. So you're spending 500,000 on that, and then you get to the south. That 500,000 naira that will be spent by whoever is carrying these goods, and when he gets to the south, he will share that 500 naira inside the goods that he's carrying, and the price will go up. And you're fighting inflation. There are things that you have to tackle when you're fighting some other things. You go to the root cause of some matters and then you fight it. Roadblocks are still on the road. They say security details will be withdrawn from VIPs, some VIPs, but we are still finding people who are not even VIPs, but people who have a few millions in their bank account carrying police up and down. So we hope that this one will be adhered to and the ban will take place. And finally, just as a mention, not to just talk about it deeply, is that PDP seeks Senator Nwoko's seat vacated over defection. They filed an originating summons on February 27, 2025, challenging Senator Nwoko's position as the representative of Delta North in the National Assembly. The PDP argues that Nwoko, who was elected under its platform, should have vacated his seat for defecting to the All Progressives Congress APC. The party cites Section 68, subsection 1G of the Constitution of Nigeria, which mandates that legislators who defect from their political party must vacate their seats. In its suit, the PDP asked the court to rule on whether Nwoko's defection to the APC violates the constitutional provisions, thus requiring him to vacate his Senate seat. The party also seeks an order directing Nwoko to refund all salaries, allowances, and other emoluments he has received as a senator since his defection. The case involves the PDP as the plaintiff, with Nwoko, the president of the Senate, and the Independent National Electoral Commission named as defendants. The outcome will determine the legality of Nwoko's continued stay in the Senate following his party switch. Well, these are things that happen when we set a bad precedent. If it is in the Constitution that once you leave your party, you relinquish your seat, and some other person has done it without any consequences, then it will keep on happening. There's no punishment for bad behavior. Now we are going to the court to seek whether he should leave or not. And then there will be the flimsy excuse that there is problems in the PDP, so you could leave because that's what the law says, that if there's a problem in the party and all that. How did the problem affect you as an individual that you had to leave? Were you suspended? Were you witch hunted? Was there any problem? But we've set a bad precedent, and if he's removed and he returns all that one, what about the people who it happened to before now, and they are going scot-free? Even now in the Rivers State House of Assembly, there were people who made proclamations that they were no longer part of a party, and they sat there, and even to the Supreme Court, they have been declared the authentic people that will be in the Assembly. So what are we saying? Well, whatever happens, the case is in court. Let's see how that plays out. If it's in favor of PDP, we see what is happening. But I wonder why INEC will always be put as a defendant in cases like this. INEC, as far as I'm concerned, is supposed to be a body that if they tell it to do this, it does. INEC has no business in who defects or should not have any business on who defects and who does not defect. The only problem INEC will have a say, or time INEC will have a say, as far as I'm concerned, is accepting according to the guidelines who should contest. So if I'm coming to contest in PDP and the rule is that I cannot contest because of X, Y, Z, INEC should be able to stand their ground and say, okay, you don't qualify to be in this election. But when every litmus test has been passed and then he contests and then he moves from party to party, I don't know if INEC should really be a serious defendant. But I've seen INEC going to court on cases like this, and I wonder why. Is it not okay? We are in court, this party and this party, and then somebody wins. The Supreme Court says, INEC, you know what, go and conduct election. Well, I don't know why that happens, but I'm not claiming that I should know better than those people who use them as defendants and why INEC has to go to court. Right now, even INEC is a defender in one of the cases that Nwoko himself has brought to the National Assembly, that they should go and conduct election in one constituency and all that. And INEC is contesting that decision. When the people went to court the first time, INEC was contesting that decision. And I was asking myself, why? Are you going to be the one to pay them? If constitutionally those people have the right and they win their case and say, okay, we can be recognized as a constituency, what's your business in saying I cannot go there and conduct an election? Why not let the law just take its course? And you're contesting it that we cannot give these people a constituency. Are you the Federal Allocation and Fiscal Commission or something, they call it FAC? Are you the one who will pay them? Are you the one who should determine whether this is a constituency or this is not? Well, maybe I've not read your handbook or the act establishing you to find that out, but it just gives me concern. If it's in your book, then it shouldn't be there, that you should be the one to decide where a constituency should be and who won. I don't even know what to say about that, but those are my personal concerns, and I hope something will be done about it. But this is how far we can go on top trending issues. We will be looking at the fresh headlines when we return in a moment now. Stay with us.